What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into TTP Sports, and let's get into this two-game set, very short series against the Toronto Blue Jays. Phillies split this series. They win last night by a score of 10-1, and they fall in the afternoon game, the series finale, by a score of 5-3. Tonight, well, for today's game, basically, since the more recent one, we'll go over both games because yesterday's game was just insanely fun. Offense was on fire. Christopher Sanchez was really good. Bryce Harper grand slam. That is always fun to see. And the offense continued to click the way that they did to extend their winning streak to 7 games. And sadly for the afternoon game, the winning streak snaps. The Citizens Bank Park winning streak snaps at 11 games. So that sucks to see. But look, are you going to show me overreacting about this game? No, there's, in my opinion, no reason to overreact. It was a stinker. It definitely was. The offense really struggled in the afternoon game against Chris Bassitt. It's funny, too, because following from yesterday's ball game, you went up against Jose Barrios, who was leading the American League in ERA, and you smoked 8 runs off of him. So that's just, I guess you could say, pure Phillies, to where you smack around the AL ERA leader, then you struggle against Chris Bassitt, who has an above 5 ERA in this season. Even though I think Chris Bassitt, over his career against the Phillies, he definitely has owned them, basically. Hasn't faced them that much, but in the starts that he has faced them in, he's definitely killed them. Definitely killed them. He's what? So this was before today's game, actually. Bassitt has a 3-0 record with an ERA of 1.59 and 20 strikeouts in 4 career starts against the Phillies. So, yeah, that definitely, as hot as the Phillies bats were coming into this game, they just don't hit Chris Bassitt well, and he definitely showcased why they struggle against him. He throws 8 pitches, which is completely insane, in my honest opinion. It just kind of looked like they weren't seeing the ball well today. They were late on a lot of pitches, on the swings and misses, and it was just a weird game overall. With, the beginning of the game, with players crashing into each other, arguing back and forth with the umpire. There's a little bit of animosity from last night's ball game with the umpires. It was just a weird game, and I would describe this game as well. The afternoon tilt, that is death by paper cuts. Because besides, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who had some very hard singles in this game, a lot of the other hits for the Blue Jays weren't that hard. They were just, finding holes, just barely squeaking by the Phillies defenders. There was a couple of hits that just nearly inches away from Alec Bohm and Bryce Harper's glove. So that just happens. A few choppers that allow a couple of base runners to where you just basically can't do anything if you're a defender because it was just perfectly placed. And, just pitches on certain parts of the zone where you're just like, why the hell are you been thinking of swinging at that? And they find a way to make contact and it finds a hole. Death by paper cuts. A swing by Kiermaier when the defense is in just bloops over Cody Clemens' head and behind him into the infield dirt. It was just one of those games. It was one of those games where the luck everywhere on the hitting side was for Toronto, and your batter struggled. Aaron Nola for today, like I said, death by paper cuts. Besides Vlad Jr., they didn't really hit him that hard. I thought Aaron Nola, it was definitely better than his last start. Don't get me wrong there. But still not the best overall Aaron Nola performance. Definitely not. He only goes 5 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 0 walks, 7 strikeouts on 96 pitches. So Matt Strom did come in and allowed one of those runs that got charged to him. But bullpen wise, Serafini Dominguez actually has besides a walk, he actually has a shutdown inning. 21 pitches there for Serafini. Kerkering does come in. He does allow some base runners. He does allow a run to score, which kind of made a difference in the ballgame because the Phillies did fight back in that 9th inning. Blue Jays put a 5th spot on the board on Kerkering. Then the Phillies come back. They make it 5-3. And if it wasn't for that extra run by the Blue Jays, the Phillies would have had 2 runners on, a 4-3 ball game with 1 out. And it could have been a completely different situation there, but sadly, sometimes you're not always going to come up clutch. Sadly, Cody Clemens is not always going to hit home runs. That's just not going to be the case. And Whit Merrifield, his hitting streak was eventually going to end. And still, I would live and die by, Whit Merrifield, in that situation. Cody Clemens, definitely a different scenario because he came in pinch hitting for Edmundo Sosa, so you're just going to have a coin flip with those two, basically. But they did show fight. They did show they weren't going to die easily, which was a little bit thankful in that case that, they at least made it an interesting ball game and made it a threat down to the very end. But you're not going to win every single game. That's just not realistic. You won 7 in a row. This homestand, you won 5 of 6, and I'll take that any single day out of my book, just in my personal opinion. And in the last 13 games, you have 11 wins in your last 13 games. Only 2 losses mixed in there, a 4-game winning streak and a 7-game winning streak mixed in there. So you have a bunch of winning streaks on your hand in the recent stretch and very few losing streaks. So you were eventually going to lose a game. This 7-game winning streak was eventually going to snap. The Citizens Bank Park winning streak was eventually going to snap. You're not going to sweep every single series. That just isn't realistic. That isn't going to happen. But now you have a day off tomorrow, and you're playing some interdivisional games for the next week and a half. 3-game series against the Marlins, a series that you have to win. You cannot have a stinker against the lowly Marlins because their record is absolutely putrid. That team is terrible. Gotta win that series. I'll talk about sweeps if you win the first 2 games. Winning series is the most important thing. Then you have 4 games against the Mets, 2 on the road, 2 at home, and then I believe you have a 3 or a 4-game series against the Washington Nationals as well. So, interdivisional matchups, place for you to get some wins there, and to continue the good vibes. That's basically it. So, day off, get some rest, because I wouldn't be shocked that some guys need some rest. So, and you move on to the Marlins, and you continue this groove. Can't have a stinker against the Marlins. That is mandatory. You cannot have a stinker there. You almost had a stinker against the Angels, and you found a way to overcome that. Now you just have to go into Miami and beat up on that team. They're falling apart. They're trading guys away. They just traded away Luis Arraez, so they're definitely going to be trading away a lot more guys as the season goes along. That's all the rumors right now. I wouldn't be shocked if Jazz is traded, or if Josh Bell, Berger, all those guys are traded. Some of their pitchers are traded. It's been that bad of a year for them so far, and they don't see themselves overcoming that. So it's a series that you got to win. That's the bottom line. Series that you got to win, and I believe the Marlins are coming back from Los Angeles, so they'll be a little tired probably. They'll probably be a little tired. So if we go over the past 2 games, just look at everything here. Like I said, for yesterday's game, it was very fun. You won 10-1. Christopher Sanchez was very solid. He went 7 innings, struck out 5, only allowed 1 earned run on 89 pitches. Spencer Turnbull pitched the final 2 there on 33 pitches, so he came out of the bullpen to finish the job to save some arms there, which is very nice. Lineup-wise, a lot of guys hit. Kyle Schwarber went 1 for 4. Whit Merrifield 1 for 5. Bryce Harper was fantastic yesterday. He was 3 for 3 with a grand slam and also a walk there. 2 runs scored. Nick Castellanos, he was 1 for 4 with an RBI. Brandon Marsh 0 for 4 in yesterday's ballgame. Bryson Stott 2 for 4. Edmundo Sosa 1 for 3 with an RBI. Cody Clemens 2 for 4 but 4 RBIs. He had a 3-run shot in there, I believe, or a 2-run shot. Then he also had a triple in this game. So Cody Clemens continues to do crazy things in his first few appearances so far this season. And then Garrett Stubbs had 2 walks, went 0 for 2 there. Phillies were just crushing the ball yesterday, and they resulted in a win. And it was some fantastic stuff. It was some very fun stuff. Never gets old. Never gets old. But in today's game, offense definitely struggled. They got a lot more of their hits later on in the ball game from the 7th inning on. Blue Jays take the lead in that 3rd inning. Phillies tied up right after. They do get bases loaded with no outs in that 3rd inning, and they only do score 1 run off of a Kyle Schwarber sac fly. And it was a fantastic play by George Springer in foul territory as well, making that diving catch. There's also some things to say that why wasn't Edmundo Sosa tagging up on that play, so maybe there could have been another instance where another run could have scored there, because I believe it was JT that grounded into a fielder's choice, and it was in the hole enough to where if Sosa was at third base, he probably would have scored on that play, because JT beat it out, and you could have been up 2-1, so that definitely could have been a difference in the ballgame. Edmundo not reading the fly ball right off of Schwarber's bat. And, yeah, that's basically, like I said, death by 1,000 paper cuts. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. The Blue Jays had 12 hits. Not a lot of those hard hits. They were just finding holes, like I said, just grazing by the Phillies defenders, and that's sometimes how it goes. Sometimes one team has all the luck. Sometimes you just can't buy anything. And that's exactly what happened in today's game. Bassett, he went 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts on 102 pitches, so he definitely diced you up a little bit there. Aaron Nola, 5 2/3, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Rest of the bullpen, Strom allowed the inherited run to score. Seraphny did his job. Ruiz did his job. Kirkering allowed that 1 run to score to make it a 5-2 ball game. You did fight back, though. You definitely did in that 9th inning. Bohm with the leadoff single. Marsh grounds into a fielder's choice where it was just a very close play at second base. Bichette almost, made a brutal mistake there, allowing Bohm to be safe, but sadly that wasn't the case. Then Nick Castellanos gets the single. He gets first and second for Bryson Stott. He rips it into the right field corner to make it a 5-3 ball game. Sadly, Cody Clemens and Whit Merrifield did not have good at-bats. Cody Clemens pops up on the first pitch, and then Whit Merrifield pops up in the foul territory to end the ball game off. So not the best at-bats there from your 8 and 9 hole hitters. You would at least like to get it to the top of the lineup, and they didn't do that in that fact. But like I said, you're not going to win every single game. Offense has been on an absolute heater. They were due for a stinker. You were eventually going to snap the losing streak. They were eventually going to snap the home winning streak. Snap the winning streak, snap the home winning streak. That was eventually going to happen. Let's not overreact here, even though there's probably going to be some Phillies fans that do overreact. My main thing after this, take the day off tomorrow, get your rest, travel to Miami, whatever you're going to do, and do not have a stinker series against the Miami Marlins. That's the bottom line there. Definitely the bottom line. Do not have a stinker against that team. Just don't. Just don't. And if we look at the lineup for today's game, Kyle Schwarber, he was 0-3 with the sac fly. JT was 1-4. Bryce was 0-4. Kind of got into an unlucky situation in that 8th inning. JT with a 2-out double. Bryce Harper goes up, I believe, 3-0 in the count or 3-1 in the count. And he was taking all the way. The pitcher for the Blue Jays at the time, I believe it was Meza. He has one location there, completely misses his location, but still somehow dots a slider right on the top of the zone. It was called for a strike, and Bryce Harper was just insanely frustrated right after that because he grounded out, and you could tell he was throwing the bat into the dugout. He was mad. He was definitely mad because, of course, the pitcher completely misses his location, and somehow he still dots a strike, like right in a position where he's just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? It was just one of those days. It was one of those days, and sadly, that was the case. Alec Bohm was 1-4 back into the lineup today. He was off yesterday. Brandon Marsh 1-4. Nick Castellanos 2-4. And there's actually a stat here for Nick Castellanos. His bat is actually starting to wake up a little bit, which is a good sign, hopefully. This is from Todd Zalecki. Nick Castellanos with a double off of the left field wall. So this was before his single in the 9th inning. With the double off the left field wall. Entered today batting .308 with 2 doubles, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, and an .857 OPS in the past 7 games. So that is a very good sign that Nick Castellanos' bat is starting to wake up, which is a very good thing there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Know what I mean? Bryson Stott, he goes 1-2 with 2 RBIs and a walk. Edmundo Sosa went 0-1 with a strikeout. Then Clemens came into the ball game. He went 0-2 with a strikeout. Rojas goes 1-2, and then Merrifield came into the ball game. He went 0-2. Phillies, they went 2-8 with runners in scoring position. They left 6 runners on base. Blue Jays went 5-14, respectively. Like I said, just death by paper cuts. You're not going to win every single game. That's just basically it. That's just basically it. But the vibes are still good. Day off tomorrow, and you go to Miami for a series that you should win. Yeah, Miami is currently playing against the Dodgers right now, so they're coming back from LA, so that should be a series that you should win, in my opinion. Well, you have to win, in my opinion. And if we're looking at the pitchers for this series, it looks like Taijuan Walker is going to be pitching on Friday, Ranger Suarez on Saturday, and then Zack Wheeler on Sunday. Interesting. Very interesting there. Very, very, very interesting. Unless I'm just completely mistaken and I'm getting this wrong. This is what ESPN is saying. I should check the MLB app just to make sure. Just to make sure, because Walker pitched on, what, Sunday? Against the Giants? So, let me see. Let me see. Currently, it is to be determined on the MLB app, but ESPN says it's Taijuan Walker, so I'm not sure what to think about there. So, I guess we'll just wait and see on that case. So, it's going to be right now, it's going to be Taijuan Walker against Trevor Rogers. He's 0-5 with a 6.15 ERA. Got to smack him. Ranger Suarez, he's going up against Sixto Sanchez. And Sixto Sanchez in his starts has not gone deep in any of them. 1 inning, 2 2/3, 4 innings, 4 innings. So it's mostly a short start unless they force him to go a little bit extra to stretch his arm out. But he's allowed in his last 3 starts 10 earned runs. 10 earned runs in his last 3 starts. So gotta hit him. He's got a 7.5 ERA on the season. Gotta hit him. And then Zack Wheeler on Sunday. He's going up against Braxton Garrett. He is, I believe this is his first start of the year. Yeah, this is going to be his first start of the season, it looks like. So we'll see what happens there. I guess he was injured. So it'll be his first start of the season. So you got to win the series. And then you go into the 4 games against the Mets, 2 on the road, 2 at home. Basically, your entire rotation, besides Zack Wheeler, will be pitching that series. And then you'll have a 3-game series against the Washington Nationals. And then a 3-game series against the Rangers after a day off. So, yeah, just keep the good vibes going. That's all that matters at the end of the day. You're 26-12. You're 14 games above 500. Just keep winning. You're going to lose eventually. There's going to be peaks, ebbs, and flows throughout the entire 162. It's going to be ups and downs. Just keep the ups going. 1 loss. Follow that right back up with a series win. That's all you can do from here. No reason to overreact, even though there's probably going to be some people that overreact because they are Philadelphia fans. And, yeah. I want to see the Marlins, what they have been doing. They are 10-28 on the year. They are losing 3-1 to the Dodgers in the 7th inning. They've lost the first 2 games to the Dodgers. And the Marlins currently, they lost the series to the Athletics to 2-3 there. And they swept the Rockies. And then they followed that up. Well, they swept the Rockies, and then in the previous 2 series, they got swept by the Nationals and the Braves. So, yeah, just keep beating up on a team that's not doing good. Beat up on a team that's not doing good right now. And who is even in their lineup? I'm just looking at it. Jazz, De La Cruz, Berger, Bell, Sanchez, Gordon, whoever that guy is, Brujan, Fortes, Lopez. Jazz is batting 237, De La Cruz is batting 271, Berger 206, Bell 203, Sanchez 237, Gordon 200, Brujan 254, Fortes 130, and Lopez 300. So, take that what you will. They're not doing good. That is the bottom line there. They're not doing good overall. And I don't think there's anything else here on the Twitterverse right now. Don't think there is. So, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. Day off tomorrow, and then you move on to Miami. That's all you can do from this point. So, that'll do it for today, everybody. Thanks for tuning in whenever you decide to. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I'll see you next time.